We don't have no audio.
Try it again. Right.
Now, do we have audio now?
Yeah, we should have audio.
Okay, good. Now,
Yeah,
a lot of people, sorry for the hiccups, everybody, but a spiritual gifted person, as they grow up, they feel different. They don't feel like a normal person. Okay? Now, when you start channeling a gift and you have a guru, the first thing the guru is going to do is say, get used to your energy.
Right.
Then get used to nature's energy. Then he's going to say, now do your penance or do your devotion or prayers, whatever you want to call it, to do a connection
Right.
to God. So when people do the connection to God, they're waiting. They're like, when is it coming?
Right.
You know, so one thing about human beings, we're very impatient. We want things right now. Now, let's say a person, not with their hands, but they're manifesting, some call the Holy Spirit,
Right.
some will call the Shakti,
Shakti. Yeah.
right? And now that energy is starting to come through their body. Now, when that happens, they become, once they bring it 80% and above, they will not remember.
Right.
You will not see the actual person. They will not hear. And now, that energy, that Holy Spirit, that guidance from God is totally taken over your body.
Right.
And they are there to give a message. They are there to help, sometimes heal on the spot. Now, when that normally first starts, you'll see the person off balance.
Right.
They're going to be going all over the place.
Right. Moving from side to side.
Right, because they are not centered.
Center.
That energy needs to be centered within the body. Now, when they start to center, then the energy, the divine, can set 100%. Now, when it's 100%, and you've seen it before,
Right.
it's a whole different ballgame.
Different. Yeah.
Now you're talking energy that's so powerful, you know, a normal person cannot comprehend. Now, when that energy enters the body, the person gets used to it, hopefully.
Right.
Now, what if a different angel or deity started coming into them right after the first one? Now, some people, they can switch one after the other without the individual coming back.
Okay.
Okay? So, let's say St. Michael came, then Ariel, Chandiel. So we have them, Gabriel, Michael,
Right.
or in Hinduism, they might have Sanganidhi Baba, Munish Prem Baba, Kalbhairav Baba, and many more.
Right.
Okay? Now, the problem that we have, one, if a gifted person is not trained on how to channel, that gifted person could be in trouble. How do you think a gifted person that does a manifestation might get in trouble?
Well, that's the same question I was now going to ask you. Like, what are the like the dangers?
Here's one of the dangers. If the person, well, first of all, we got to look at the steps, okay?
Right.
If a person is manifesting and they're going all over the place, they're not centered. Well, first of all, who's ever in charge of that worship place should be centering them.
Right.
They should be guiding them. But there's a lot of them aren't. Right? So, here's the next problem. When one comes out right after the other, like maybe 2 seconds in between,
Oh, I catch what you're saying.
can, and yes, it's happened, can a negative
Yeah.
slip in that channel during that transition?
Definitely.
Okay. Now, if people aren't centered and they don't know all the protocols, how are they going to know that's a negative?
They can't tell.
So now, are people getting the divine guidance? Or are they may be getting guidance that's going to throw them off track?
But Master, this is where Guru comes in because he's supposed to notice that change.
But if people are doing this and they're in front of people, then the head is supposed to know automatic.
Yeah.
Now, I want you to understand, I have seen people go mad because a negative slipped in. Now, when a negative slips in, that negative is going to want that person away from that leader.
Right.
He don't want to be detected from that leader. Okay? So, what we're looking at, everybody, if you've been blessed and you can speak in tongues, or you can get the Spirit, the Baptists, they call it the Spirit, or you get the Holy Ghost, or you get the Shakti, please get your training. Now, I'm not talking 1 year worth of training. To do this properly and to know every aspect, you have to have 6 years plus.
Definitely.
6 years plus. Now, before I go on, I want to make sure that everybody understands this program was sponsored, and we're very grateful, by Creed Auto, and that's in San Luis Road, Guayaquil, that's how you say it, right?
Yeah,
Guayaquil. Sandy Grande. And their number is 488-4280. Again, 488-4280.
She said because of the esophageal, because one to septic, they feel like,
All right.
and also like.
Now, I want everybody to understand that is a manifestation. So now, what if a person has the gift of foresight?
Right.
Now, the foresight will generate normally at the beginning in a dream. Now, persons think you're dreaming. But then after a while, and I know there's a lot of listeners and viewers out here that this has happened to. And they're going to get the dream or they get the vision. And then within a day or two, it comes true. Now, where is the filter? Because in every belief in the world, it states there could be false representations, false witnesses, which means the negative or demonic possession or spirits will mimic the divine, the angels, the deities. And it's been proven. Many people that was very recognized in the scriptures were tested. Now, and they passed. The reason was, why? They had a teacher. They had a guru. Okay? Now, you don't want to be misguided. Now, how do you know who is who? Energy.
Right.
Once you know and you've been channeling the different energies within you, now you can decipher, wait a minute. You're coming to me and you're feeling like this. At that time, you challenge them. Whether it's in the dream, which is the message, or in a manifestation.
Right.
You challenge them. I'm not saying try to prove. You challenge them by asking certain questions. Not about you,
Right.
about them.
Right.
And if you've had a guru and you studied for this many years, there are protocols that temples don't know. And you start asking about that protocol. If mum is the word, it's not real. You back off. You keep your distance. Okay? This comes with demonics. Remember, demons, especially a hybrid, can transform into any form they desire. They can come as a dog, a cat. Your son or wife may be at work, but all of a sudden you see him in the house.
Right.
Okay, this is where we was talking about this morning of spiritual rape. What happens to a person when they are spiritually raped by a demon? Now, this is for people that has foresight. The ones that don't have a main big problem, and they're gifted, is the people who was born with a veil. So those are the people that can see the non-living, the souls that are wandering. So there was a question that came in this morning from the program, and I know they're going to be watching tonight. So, can they, or how do they cross over? Right? How does a demon cross over? Now, how that works is that we live in a dual parallel dimension. So as you are walking down the street, they are also walking down the street.
Oh.
But they're in their dimension. So it's like looking through a window. If a person can see, they will see that dimension pass ours. Now, in those dimensions and the gap between, there are openings. And they can come through. They normally come through from realm 3 into our realm. Now, it's not hard for them because they're actually seeing the actual demon,
Right.
or they're seeing the undead.
Right.
So it's not like a person that's getting a message or a vision.
Oh, they actually see it.
They can see it.
Right.
Now, a lot of people, they don't want to see.
Yeah. Because some people get
And
scared.
some people, they're able to see when they're children. And think of the impact it has on a child. You know, you're seeing something and you know they're not alive, but you keep seeing them. This is where that child needs to have someone to talk to. And the parents need to understand what to do if their child has this gift. And you've seen, you work with me, how many children tell their parents they see them?
Yeah. And first things.
A lot of them.
And 9 times out of 10 parents don't even believe. That,
Correct.
Yeah.
Until something
Something
happens.
happens. Yeah.
Which we hope does not happen. Okay? Now, a spiritual gift is given to you by God before you are conceived. Now, that spiritual gift may lay dormant
Right.
within you until the appropriate time that God has planned for you to recognize that you have an ability that normal people do not have.
Right.
Now, what's the downfall of many people who has a gift? Just give me an answer here. Shoot it out.
The downfall.
What is the downfall? Almost 90% of a person that has a spiritual gift.
Well, I would think the downfall is that if they go by the wrong person, like they end up by the wrong individuals to guide them, and they could end up losing that gift.
Yes and no. The number one downfall of a person who has a gift and know they have a gift is their ego.
Oh.
They think that they're powerful. They think they can do things that other people can't. So they're above everybody else. Well, guess what? They are totally mistaken, right? A person who has a gift is no better than anybody else. Why? The only reason you have it is because God gave it to you. Just because He chose you doesn't mean you're better than everybody else. A lot of times when God gives you a gift, He's testing you. He's testing you. He's going to see. This is where a guru is very important.
Right.
A guru will make sure no matter how good you are with that gift, you remain humble.
Right.
You remain normal. When people see you, they shouldn't be looking at you and you're looking, saying, I can do this and I can do that. That is not a spiritual person. A lot of people want spiritual gifts to gain excess power over other people. And that is wrong. A gift, you should treat it like you have a gold nugget in your hand. Now, everybody that's listening, if you had, or one of them big American gold bars from Fort Knox, you might not be able to lift it very good, but if you had one of them, wouldn't you cherish it?
Yeah.
Wouldn't you take care of it? Or would you abuse it? No. You have to treat a spiritual gift the same way you would treat a gold bar. Now, what about people who has a gift of healing with their hands? What could be the negative of that?
Well, from what I saw, the negative could be that if you try to heal someone and they have negativity, if you're not experienced with the guidance from a guru of, of a certain caliber, you can end up take all that negative inside you, and you end up in the same position of that individual that you try to heal.
Well, I shouldn't be asking him because he works with me. So he's seeing all these cases coming in.
Yeah, definitely.
But you're exactly right. The reason is, everybody, is that you have to safeguard. There are guards you have to put up. When you are putting your hand on a person, or, and some people think they're smart, they will use a neem spray, or they'll use a feather.
Yeah.
You're still pulling.
It can still come true.
So you still have to have the same safeguard up. So there are people out there, and if you're listening, you know, I want to, again, announce our sponsor tonight. They are Creed Audio, and they are on St. Louis Road, Guayco, Sandy Grande. The number is 488-4280. And if you need their services, please give them a call. Because I've been in Sandy Grande, and let me tell you something. We've done a lot of people in Sandy Grande, and there's a lot of good businesses over there. And they need to start getting recognized. They need to start getting people to come in and seeing what service they can actually provide. You know, so again, we really thank you for sponsoring this program. Now, back to spiritual healing. Now, you've seen it. I've had yoga masters come. I've had Reiki masters come, and they're sick. And when we did the assessment, we finally found out that they were not taught how to safeguard themselves properly. Because especially if you're pulling, now fever is different, minor stuff.
Yeah.
But when you're dealing with people that has cancer,
Yeah.
and you've seen how we can pull cancer
Right.
spiritually, right? You have to super safeguard, because when you're pulling, that cannot enter you.
Yeah.
You have to keep it at a neutral place within that energy pool, right? So people, if you are in this profession and you do massages, you do spiritual healing, you pray for people. Now, praying for people and praying on people,
yeah.
are two different ball games.
Very different.
So, if you, which is great, if you have a church and you have a prayer group, and now you are praying on somebody, so you're laying your hand on them, right? You need to get trained, so it doesn't come through the circle of people that is actually praying for that person. Again, praying on somebody and praying for somebody is two different things. Now, what other gifts are there? Just name one.
Well, it said foresight. And the next one it said was healing.
And manifestation.
Right. Another gift. Yeah, I'm a flustered here.
What about, and we had a program on it last year, astral traveling.
Oh, yes.
What if a person has the ability to leave their body in the astral form and go anywhere they want to go?
That is very, very, very possible.
And there's a lot of people out there that do it. Now, when you have that ability, does that give you the right to invade somebody's personal space without their permission?
Nope.
Now, are there consequences, and eventually it will catch up with them,
Yeah.
of people who do that?
Yeah.
I want people to understand, you cannot abuse a gift. You have to cherish that gift. There are rules for every type of gift there is, period. And you cannot violate that gift. If you do, one, you got to pay for it later. Number two, you could lose that gift faster than you got it. I want you to understand, God can take it back very fast. So there are people, Shiv, which is using this gift and going and molesting women, having sex with them. They are going, they're spying, they're watching, they're looking, even in your business. People can feel like, it feels like a presence watching, but they can't really figure it out. This is forbidden. And I'm not going to start saying all the regulations and rules. This is where when you come, we will teach you, we will guide you. Why? Every Tom, Dick, and Harry that's listening to this tonight is going to copy what we're saying to make people think they know what they're doing.
True.
I'm not going to do that. Now, so astral traveling, if you do it for good and you are escorted with an angel or a deity, you can do it all the time.
And Master,
Why? Because you cannot deviate from the proper path
right.
if you are escorted by an angel or deity.
And then there's dangers in doing.
Right. And a lot of people out here don't understand, even in meditation.
Yeah.
There's negativity within astral traveling. There's negativity in meditation to where other spiritual people can try to attack you when you're in these modes. This is where also you need to be trained. Because, like I said one time, they can come, but they better know what they're doing.
Yeah.
Because I'll jack slap them across the universe. You know, this is forbidden. You cannot use a gift that God gave you to cause harm, infliction, invasion of privacy, or any other acts that is not proper. That has to stop. And he knows, and I know, and my whole staff knows, this is happening every day. Even right here in Trinidad and Tobago. So there are safeguards you have to put up. And when you put those safeguards up, I don't care how good these people are, they're not going to crack it.
Never.
Okay? Now, so we've covered manifestations. We've covered people who get messages, foresight. Now, I want to go back to that for a minute. When you have a message that is given to you to give someone else, it is your duty to give that message. I don't know why, Shiv, but when I've trained people in the past, they love giving good news. But when it came to bad news, or something may go this way or wrong, some of them don't give the message. Well, then that comes back on you.
Yeah.
Okay, when God gives you a duty and the ability to do certain things, you have to go through with it.
Right.
And a lot of people are scared to do that. Now, when you have a gift, everyone, you don't go around bragging about it. You don't go around wearing a shirt saying, I'm gifted. No. If you do, you're going to end up in trouble. Because I've seen on the internet, there's very many people that go on there and say, I'm the best. Nobody's better than me. Well, one, you've announced it to the universe. Two, if you look at history or you look at scriptures, no matter what faith you're in, once you say you're the best, there's somebody going to come by and bust your bubble. And in spirituality, that could be fatal. You know, be humble, people. If you're able to help someone, do it genuinely. Do it with a pure heart. And you will see how you'll move up and how that person's going to move up by assisting them. When you have a spiritual ability, you need to train someone to take over when you get too old. And here's the problem, Siobhan. There are people that goes to maybe the church, could be a temple, it could be a synagogue, it could be anywhere. And they're working under the priest, preacher, pundit, imam, or whatever.
Right.
For 2 months. And they think they know it all. So they go open up their own.
2 months.
Now, where is the experience? Where is the training? And most of all, from training and experience comes wisdom. There isn't any. From what I'm seeing and what I'm hearing, there isn't any. You cannot start doing drugs or drinking alcohol so you can bring the divine or a manifestation. Why do you even have to do that? If you are trained properly and have the proper connection, you don't have to do that because that is not proper,
Right.
right? When you're misguiding people that is looking for help, do your best to guide them, but do not go outside of your lane. So what I mean by that, if your expertise is doing a prayers or in a church, a sermon or XYZ, then you wouldn't go out if that's your expertise and you haven't been trained on how to take out demons. But they do. And a demon ain't going nowhere. That demon's staying right there.
Watch them on that smile.
And they're charging huge amount of money. Right? Where's the wisdom? Where's the humility? Where is the genuality
True.
of that person?
No, but also, Master, if I can share with you. In 2 months, you said, right? In 2 months, it is impossible, humanly impossible to learn everything you need to learn about these type of stuff.
It takes. You can't even learn all of it in a lifetime.
No.
You know, so this is what I'm trying to tell people out there. They're really misguiding people.
Yeah.
Now, I'm not here to trash people. I'm here to tell people that if you're gifted, then know your gift, learn your gift, be guided by someone who is highly trained to develop that gift. And don't fall into the negatives. Or you could even hurt yourself if a negative channels within. I've also, in the past, Siobhan, I've had a person that did spiritual work for 52 years. And I really respected this person. And this person went so far in their meditation, they got lost.
Couldn't find their way back.
Could not find their way back. Now, when that happened, the person's vital signs went almost to zero. They still had a slight heartbeat, and they had 1 respiration per minute. Right? This went on for 2 years until their student contacted us. Now, I want people out there, we got lucky. And I'm saying lucky. We went out and we did find that person. And we brought him back. But we were lucky. And the only reason why we had the ability is the connection we have. You understand?
Yeah.
You cannot do this by yourself.
No.
And I always tell people, God has to be in the picture. God or his representative of an angel or deity. They have to be present. When you do that, you have abilities that a normal person wouldn't have. Okay? The person came back and they lived for only 2 years. And they passed.
Wow.
Because you're going to lose a lot of your life when you're lost like that for 2 years.
Yeah, because that puts a strain.
So people, when you are meditating, there are also safety guidelines, which is implemented into your training. Don't be going listening to YouTube and all of this without proper guidance. You can really have problems. Don't be trying to open up your chakras within your body without the proper guidance. All you have to do is Google it. You will see case after case after case that when people open their chakras on their own or somebody is attempting to open their chakras for them and they do not know what they're doing, you can go mad. Now when you go mad and that happens, it's very hard to bring you back. I want people to understand that. Don't be careless and don't be impatient to learn what needs to be done. Now, I do have, okay, somebody wrote in here. Downfall, is that a lonely road? The downfall of those who are spiritually gifted? Good question. Answer is yes. There is a place, and a lot of the Christians don't know this because they don't talk about it. But there is a place called the White Throne. And it states in there that those who abuse their spiritual position, they abuse their spiritual gifts, they will be entombed inside the White Throne. And being entombed people, I wouldn't want to be it. I wouldn't want to be there. It's not good. And there's a big price to pay. You know, and there's a lot of you out there that's walking around. And strange things are happening to you. And you can't explain it yourself. You're trying to figure it out. But then on the other hand, who are you going to talk to? Because most people don't believe in spiritual gifts. So they're just being dormant.
Right.
Okay, they don't have a spiritual person to talk to. Their family won't listen to them. So I want you to understand, if you have some things that are going wrong, you're hearing voices, and they're clear, well, then give us a call, 354-4459. If you're having the same dream over and over again, showing you how you should be doing and working with your spiritual gift. If you dream it more than twice, give us a call. 354-4459. Because that is a hint of what you need to be doing. And we can help you. We can help guide you into the path that is meant for you. I want you to understand that each one of you are gifted in your own way, whether you're listening or watching us tonight. Now, who are we to say you shouldn't be gifted? Who are we to say, I'm not going to teach you? Because some spiritual people don't teach because they're afraid you may be better than them. But when you don't teach and you don't share the knowledge that you have, you're only hurting yourself. And you're only degrading yourself spiritually. And then eventually you're not going to have any gift. So people, you have to cherish what you have. Now, what is the con of having a spiritual gift pertaining to demonics? You're gifted.
Right.
But what is the con if you're not trained when it comes to demons?
Oh, well, from my knowledge, if you're spiritually gifted, right? If a demon enters your body and so on, right? They can actually suppress that gift and actually drain all the energy that you stored up.
Correct. Now, but there's one big problem. A person that has foresight, a person that can seize, a person that can get Shakti or the Holy Spirit, you're a magnet.
Yeah, because
All the souls that are wandering the world and they're looking to leave, all of them will be drawn to a spiritually gifted person, hoping they will know someone that can help them leave when they're trapped here on earth.
right.
So then a lot of people understand, why is this happening to me all the time? Why am I seeing this? Why am I being pinned down? XYZ. Because you're a magnet. You will draw the negative to you just as much as you will draw the good to you. So after listening to this shift, doesn't it make sense to take your time and get trained?
Definitely.
Okay. And wouldn't it make sense to have people out here that really know what they're doing and start really helping people instead of taking advantage? You know, I want to name some nonsenses that's going on. But before I do that, I want to thank again you 97.5 FM radio and the listeners that is listening live. Also, I want to thank Z&B Communications, and I especially want to thank Creed Audio, and they are San Luis Road, Guayco, Sandy Grande, and their number is 488-4280. So this is what we're trying to look at now. Is having a spiritual gift is great. But as you mature, whatever gift that God gave you, do you know what happens then? More responsibility.
True.
And when people are under you, so let's say you're a leader of a spiritual place, right? And you've got people all around you, and they're manifesting, they're doing this, they're doing that. And you cannot physically see everyone at the same time. You can't hear everything at the same time. What if something slipped into one and they're misguiding people? Or what if that person isn't even manifesting for real?
Oh.
Who is the blame there? It is the leader. Because before you have a place like that, you need to be fluent. You need to know almost every aspect of that. Because you are the one that is guiding them. You are the one that is teaching them. So a lot of people think, oh, the more you pray, you might get by with a little extra stuff.
Oh, no, no.
Because
no,
you're
no.
trying to win favor to God. Right?
Trade off.
I'm telling you the truth. This is how humans think. That they can mama guy God and store up points so when they do something wrong, God can just take the points off the ones you stored.
Right.
It don't work that way. Okay? So there is extreme responsibility when it comes to training somebody, making sure they understand, make sure they follow through. Now, as you train somebody, you have to be vigilant at all times. You have to know, watch, understand, and make sure ego doesn't start. Pride doesn't start.
Right.
And there is no I. Like, I can do this. I can do that. Nobody can do that better than me.
Oh.
Everything, when you start spirituality, it is we. We includes God itself. And you heard me this morning. I couldn't make the big prayers I did this weekend for the Hindus. I couldn't have made that possible without a team. It takes a team effort. So everybody gets credit, not just one person. And then God has to get the ultimate credit.
Right.
Okay? So, where do we get this idea that we're just as powerful? We are at the same level as angels, deities,
Right.
or even God. And normally throughout history, when you see that start to happen, isn't there a disaster? Devastation that happens to teach people a lesson? Are we ever going to learn? Right now, and I'm going to put my head on a block, we're changing nature. We're changing nature, people.
True.
And when we start interfering with our bodies, and we start interfering on who can have a baby that shouldn't have a baby, and we start changing ourselves to where we think we should be, don't you think there's going to be consequences?
Definitely.
And people don't see this. If we don't start cleaning our act, last month I did the program on the shift. If you did not see that or listen to that, go to YouTube, Master Eric. Look for the golden key, black background. And let me tell you something. Watch that program. It's going to shake you. Because this is exactly what's happening today. Okay? People, you need to cherish whatever ability God gave you. Now, there's some people that don't have that. They were born with the gift of singing.
Right.
They had the gift of knowing a certain trade.
True.
There's been people, 3-year-olds, that is playing piano like Liberace. Okay? This came with them. It's a gift. All right? Some people have knowledge. Some people started big Fortune 500 companies from a vision.
True.
But God gave them the idea, God gave them the know-how, and this is what got them where they are today. Don't abuse it. Appreciate it. Thank God for what you do get. But we're going to go until 7:15 tonight. And I want to thank you 97.5 because of this. And ZMB Communications. People, we have to do what's right. Do not go astray. Tread that white line. Don't go on the gray line. Once you're on the fence and you start teetering back and forth, it's not going to work. And you're only hurting the people that you're trying to help. You know, you need to understand what are the rules, what are the protocols, how to safeguard yourself to where when you're channeling that manifestation, how the negative cannot slip in. I want you to understand what to look for. And if it's an energy that you normally don't feel, you'll be trained on how to challenge them. And when you do, it's not disrespect. If that's a real deity or a real angel testing you, they're going to know the proper thing for you to do. If you didn't recognize the form that they came in at that time, you're supposed to challenge them with knowledge. You don't challenge them by hitting them with a rope or a chain. That don't prove anything. A negative could take that. Probably easier. How you do it is by what that angel and deity does when they come. What they say, how they speak, what they speak. You'll know right then. You're going to feel their energy 10 to 15 feet away. You're going to feel the heat. That's when you know they're real. All I'm saying, people, don't get caught up in a vortex. Stay your ground. If you're experiencing these things and you're getting the dreams, you know that you're supposed to be doing something. You don't know who to talk to, or you don't know who to train you or try to get you going. Next month, next week, I'm announcing the date. I am taking in a class, not for the public, only people who are gifted. And with this, they will come to class. And guess what? We've got people coming from the Catholic Church. We've got people coming from the Christian churches. We got people coming from the Hindus. We got people coming from the Muslims. We got everybody that's going to be in one class. Why? They're gifted. And they want to know why. They want to understand, how do you use it? Some people get pains in their body. Like the one that came day before yesterday.
Yeah.
And the person had pains. But as soon as I pulled that energy up on them, the pain went away. They have to release that energy.
True.
That is starting to develop in them. They'll get back pains. So, everybody, today's program was just to get you to understand that you may have a gift, but there's always the other side to the gift. And that's where you have to safeguard yourself. Once you think you know it, and you don't have to go and get training, you don't have to go and learn how to do your prayers and devotion, you're only fooling yourself. Because there are requirements to succeed. There are certain things that you have to achieve to go up the spiritual ladder. God just don't hand it to you on a silver platter. You have to earn it. And when you prove to him that you've earned it, then it can be released to you. He's also going to watch what you're doing before you learn, during, while you're learning, and what do you do on your off time. He watches all these categories. So don't think you can fool him. And by when you leave the building, he's not with you. He's watching everything that you do. Having a spiritual gift, and I stated it many times in this program, has more responsibility that is required of you. Also, I stated earlier, if you're getting up in age, 50 plus, and you've been doing this work for a long time, you have to find a devoted student to transfer all that information that you know to that student so that he can carry on what is supposed to be done properly.
Right.
But here's the thing. People die with the information. They don't want to give what they know to other people. And that's wrong. My guru stated before he died, he had to teach me everything before he died so he could leave. Now listen to the words. So he could leave. So did that mean, he didn't say it, that if you have information and you don't transfer it to somebody else, that you might be grounded forever here on earth?
Wow.
We don't know. It was never specified. And no one can assume. So all I know is if you have a gift, you've been doing it for years and you've been doing it the right way, find you a student. Let them go. Make sure that they're going to learn 6 years plus before they start their own way. And here's a question that came in. Let's pull it over. What about, it said, okay,
The last line.
the last line, also what language they speak. I think they're referring to the manifestation. So I want people to understand, if a manifestation is talking to someone and they're only speaking Hindi, Sanskrit, or English, and they're not speaking the deity language, think twice. Because Shiv, you've seen it. Everybody that I've trained, even a person we don't even know that comes in and they manifest for real, they're speaking that deity language fluent. And they don't even know what they're saying. We do. And we're translating. But if somebody came in and said, speak English so everybody can understand, you're gone. Okay, so good point that they brought up. But everybody, we're almost done for tonight. And again, I want to thank Creed Audio. They're in San Luis Road, Sandy Grande, 488-4280. And everybody, it's been a pleasure. Tune in next week because we're going to have a program that's going to rock you. You better have a seatbelt on your chair in the living room, and you better have 2 seatbelts on if you're going to be driving down the road next week because it's going to rock your world, what we're going to talk about next week. It's been a pleasure, and see you next week.